Want to know why tomorrow could be the rapture? Well, a lovely lady called Cindy Ann replied to one of my videos, the one I did on the Google Doogle, and she saw things that I had never seen. But she is speaking about stellarium on the 18th of the 11th, tomorrow, at 5 a.m. east. The moon is on the scale, and the sun is right next to it, with Venus at the top, followed by Jupiter. November 17 is the second month, the 27th day since the new moon was sighted on October 21st, 2017. See Genesis 8:14 to 19. And it was November the 16th to the 17th, 2016, when Jupiter started to enter Virgo's womb. And that was the second month, the 16th to the 17th day that Noah entered the ark. Genesis 7:11. And November 17 to 18, 2017 is the 45th day from October the 5th, 2017, when Tabernacles started. And 45 is Psalm 45, the wedding song. So she says, if the rapture happens now, November 17 to 18th, that would allow 10 days before November 29th. 2017, which would be the exact date that the commandment went forth for Israel to become a nation, and 10 days for Revelation 2 to 10. She says, I believe you also said something about the moon and the sun being together. That seems to be fulfillment of Psalm 85:10. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Noah was only 1 year in the ark. This seems to fit perfectly. And then there's Ezekiel's 4, which has him lying on his left side 390 days for the house of Israel, and on his right side another 40 days for the house of Judah. We are so very close. Thank you for sharing your videos. So that was just so inspiring to me, because when I read Psalm 85, was it mercy in Psalm 85:10 and 11, it talks about the mercy kissing each other, mercy and righteousness, is it? Kiss each other. But at the end, and that just totally took me back to that dream that I had of Wake Me Up when September ends. And what also happened in that dream, along with these great big block walls, one was green and the whole place was done in green and yellow, green and blue. And so when I saw her explanation there, I naturally just heard, I saw these walls, and when I saw a Jonathan Clegg movie also of these great big doors closing in New York, the underground tunnel there, and with this really strange headline on the New York Times talking about winter, and tomorrow it will be wintry as well, as they just show these pictures of steam rising out of a manhole or something like that. And it really just struck me that what they were talking about, they did that news story last week on the Friday, but of course everyone, these places make these stories during the night, so on the day, so they wouldn't be talking about the Saturday and winter at the same time. So I felt that was a message to the world, about pray that your flight isn't on the Sabbath or in the winter. So this dream that I had, which ended with Wake Me Up When September Ends, was just so poignant, and I just knew it was speaking of the rapture, or the Lord coming to get us. And the green and the blue signify, blue is the heaven or the sky, spirit or water. It's also insight, revelation, communion, earth. Green is growth, heart, healing, love, joy, connection, and nature. So I got this, this impression of these blocks, these walls fitting together, as in the heaven and the earth coming together, just as it says in Psalm 85, that they kiss each other. But at the end of it, which was absolutely gorgeous, it says, mercy and truth are met together, righteousness and peace have kissed each other. And then it says, truth shall spring out of the earth and righteousness shall look down from heaven. And that was just absolutely gorgeous, because in this dream I was standing with my daughter almost like underneath my wings, and we were waiting for somebody, my old love, to come out of his office. But what I just really noticed, and there was a screen playing with the world, the great big screen on the wall with scenes from the world playing behind us. But what I noticed also was the springiness on the ground, that I was springing. And so when I read that Psalm 85, righteousness springs up from the earth, it was just so beautiful. So I just really believe that we are right there now. And I think that's all I wanted to say there. But so because of that, and if you go and look up the other scriptures, of course, she is talking about the days of Noah, and how many, the days that when he went into the ark, and which is exactly now. And of course, it just occurred to me, that's one of the things Jesus said. Why aren't we thinking about this? As in the days of Noah, that, and the ark is a rapture event. So because of that, I want to do this video, and I know I'll get flack about it, but I don't care, because I know there's a big difference between spiritism, fortune telling, that sort of quackery. Satan, Satan knows the future, of course, so he tells his prophets. But we have to also understand that there are prophets of God, and that there are people who are just given visions. I would not be with my husband today if I hadn't had a vision of him. I would never have given the man a second glance if I hadn't, if the Lord hadn't just dropped into my spirit a vision of what was going to happen in the next 15 minutes. I was just driving up the street, and as I was driving, I saw a vision in my head, and in the vision I was in, wasn't even like a vision. I didn't know what a vision was, but in what I saw while I was driving the car, coming up to the bridge, close to my house, I saw myself in my kitchen making a cup of tea, and I could hear the kettle boil. And as I heard the kettle boil, I then also heard the sound of wet wheels on the it was raining on my driveway, and then somebody knocked at the door. And so as I was driving, and then somebody knocked at the door, and there was this man there. And I just couldn't believe it, because I had been walking through a supermarket and had noticed this strange man walking beside me very closely, and it made me feel a little uncomfortable. I left the shop, and not because of that, but he was sort of hobbling along beside me. I didn't really realise why until I saw him climb into his car, which was parked beside mine, and I saw he had a cask on his leg, and he got in the passenger side of the car, and I sort of thought, what's he doing that for? And then I saw the cask. I thought, oh, that's why he can't can't bend his leg or something like that. But I never thought another thing of it until I was driving up the road, and there it all happened. And so I sort of said, laughed and said, what's that all about? And that was really strange. And then no sooner was I at home, I got home, and exactly everything that happened in my vision happened. I was making a cup of tea, I heard the sounds of wet wheels, and went to the door, and there was this man. So I was able just to be totally relaxed and laugh and say, I've just seen all this happen, come in, would you like a cup of tea? And I never would have done that otherwise. So the Lord, uses whomever he will. And I believe this time that we are at now, and especially the things that this man has said, they are such a threat to the powers of evil that there's been an enormous counter attack to try and bury this because of what he says. And the most important thing he says, even though he talks all about the Soviet Union, collapsing, Russia becoming our ally, and the Chernobyl disaster and electric cars, and so he's prophesied everything he says is exactly bang on. But the most startling thing is his prophecy that we are going to be, as a race, human beings are going to be taken over by the internet, that by aliens through the internet, and that is going to happen very strongly in 2012, at the end of 2012, which is exactly the truth of what happened. And then he also goes on to talk about what happens in America. He talks about the Twin Tower attacks, and he talks about this uprising because of this black man. There's going to be a black man elected president, and he's going to be like a messiah. So that is what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to interpret.
Et ce, dans la première décennie qui suivra l'an 2000. Voilà, ça, c'est évident.
Okay, that's unequivocal.
Et comme je vous disais, le bloc de l'Est, dans 10 ans, n'existera quasiment plus. Donc on peut imaginer qu'à
No, so at the beginning of 2000, they'll be our allies. He's talking about Russia. So we won't talk about the Soviet bloc anymore. It's clear that the causes of these attacks, the causes of these conflicts, will be energy. That's obvious. War for oil will start very soon. Second reason, religious issues. This is 1980. We'll return to religious wars. Yes, this change will be a popular revolution. A revolution because the American people will elect between 2005 and 12 a black man as president of the most powerful country in the world. A black man will be the most powerful man on the planet. This change will be pushed by a popular movement. The people will rally behind this man like he was, maybe not the Messiah, but some kind of savior. The spirit of change on America that will have suffered. The spirit of change for America. I haven't quite got that. He predicts his own death now. I don't see anything for those years in 100 years. As far as my psychic vision goes, I don't see anything after 2012. Okay, so I'm not going to carry on with that. Hopefully that is enough. But I just would point out, because I took a lot of trouble trying to just work through all the disinformation. There's been whole movies made to try and bury these predictions, and there are other films that he's done, because he wrote to the president of France, so worried about some of the things that he had seen, I think Chernobyl in particular, but he ended up having to leave leave France because of a prediction that came true about a murder. So, but there is also, with their disinformation, they've gone to great lengths, and there is one video which says Jacques Schnitzerman pretending that he's not Jacques Schnitzerman, and because I'd read also a lot of the comments during this time, because I absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that he is genuine, and that the Lord would want you to know this, and because Barack Obama is coming back. Now, I said at the beginning, I think, that I had a dream this morning about Donald Trump, and it was a horrible dream, and I won't tell you the gory details, but basically the message of the dream was bad cop. All my dreams of Trump have been positive up until the last two, and the last one was where he had walked away from a group and given the signal for his own assassination. And even though he lay down and made all the sounds for the assassination, it was a tall, dark man in a balaclava standing in the sides, and he made the signal and gave the signal and was shot or whatever, and then died. But I knew he wasn't dead, and he lay there a long time pretending to be dead. So I haven't been able to figure that out. But then this morning, this dream that I had, I will tell you actually, it was hideous. He was a cop, and he was sodomizing a woman cop. So there was a cryptic tweet apparently about that he put out that was meant to be a mistake, and it was he's talking about law and order or something to do with the latest shooting, and I think they're thinking that it's predicting martial law or something like that. So that when I saw the thing that impressed me in my dream was good cop, it was bad cop. That's what the whole dream was. He's a bad cop. And then it just occurred to me, of course, that's the routine. It's good cop, bad cop. And that we can see all over the media that they have been pushing, you know. And Obama's been trailing Trump all around the world. And so they're just doing the good cop, bad cop song and dance. And to divide the world, fill us with hatred for each other, and so that they can institute martial law and any other thing that they need to keep the population quiet with whatever is happening. You know, at the same time, Planet X is being seen all over the world. Anything could happen, you know, with that, with floods all over the world, tornadoes, everything that, and so they want to keep that quiet also, so that you don't realise that global change is not something that we can do anything about, but it is the Lord coming in, and Planet X is coming into our solar system. It's here now, and it's being filmed all over the world. So that is all I've got to say, but I hope you'll look up these the scriptures, you know, of the times, because this is the day, you know, that that the rains started, you know, and Noah was put in his ark. So here, hopefully, but I really wanted you to watch that Jux, and I don't know which way you know, the rapture's going to go, you know, whether the Lord keeps us safe like he did Noah, I don't know. I want to believe that we're going to be up there in heaven with him, but, you know, righteousness springing up from the ground, you know, that, you know, to me, you know, there's, I don't know. Anyway, I've said the best that I can, and I just hope that non-believers will see this and come to Jesus. Thanks for watching.